Hello, and welcome to The Kosh. I'm your host, Timber Smith, and The Kosh is a podcast that spotlights people who've had an association with Oshkosh or the surrounding Fox Valley area. Kosh listeners, how are you doing today? I know y'all are usually used to me doing things on a Saturday morning, but we're doing things a little bit different. This is the day after the holiday, and let me tell you, I'm dragging. You know why I'm dragging? Because people don't quit shooting fireworks. Why don't they quit shooting fireworks? Look, I'm all for fireworks. I like good fireworks like anybody else. I'm all for it. But you know what? There comes a time when you got to give a break to us older folk and to our pets and go on and shut it down. I'm just saying. All right. Let me just go ahead. I'm not going to waste a lot of time because I got a pretty important guest today, and I want to value their time. So let me just jump in with the intro you already know. This week's guest is Henry Sanders. Henry, how are you doing?
What's going on, Black man? I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Super good today. It's nice. Hey, what do they always say? A bad day off work is better than a good day at work. So I'm off work today. And it's a good day. I'll take it. All right. So Henry,
I just recognize your last name is Smith. My mom's name maiden name is Smith. So I got my mom's side. I got all Smiths in that family. That side of the family.
If we have to dig, when we go offline, I'm gonna have to dig and see where your people from.
Yeah, mostly Alabama area. A lot of people from Alabama area. That's where a lot of the Smiths are from.
Okay, yeah. I got a Louisiana bloodline there.
Okay, well you never know it, but you never know with us.
That is facts. That is such facts.
Never know.
All right, Henry. Can you please share a little something about yourself and what is your connection to the Fox Cities or the Kosh?
Yeah, well, my connection is interesting because one, I was born in Gary, Indiana. I was only there for a week. My dad went to law school in Madison, so I'm really in the Madison area. But my wife is from Pickett. So my wife is from Oshkosh area. And so my family's from her side of the family's there. So I'm always there. Plus we have an organization called Fox Valley 365. So I'm the CEO of an organization called 365 Media, which is a media outlet of color that's focused on people of color and being a media outlet for people of color. So we reach about 1.8 million people a month. And one of our satellites is Fox Valley 365. And so we're doing that. And I also have a for-profit side, which is called 365 Nation, which does D&I work and helps regions attract and retain people of color. So I'm also doing some work up there with New North in that area.
Ooh,
so
yes.
I know John Oshkosh and all that stuff too. Yeah, I got a lot of people up there.
All right. See, that's what I'm talking about. Now, you hit me with the 1.8 million. 1.8 million? That's the monthly contact? That's deep.
Yeah, it goes between 1.5 and 1.8 million a month. Yeah. So I guess that's pretty good.
Hey, look, as a small market podcaster, it gave me chills. One day I will get there. But right now,
you can always come on our platform. You can always come on. You can always come over with us.
Hey,
on the platform.
Look. I'm not gonna say there is no in that. What I will say is, for right now, these Kosh listeners, I'm loyal to the game. I'm loyal to it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Hey. Okay. Well, let's jump into the first segment, and the first segment is, what in the world is going on with? That is where you start with the phrase, what in the world is going on? And you tell us something that's on your mind. So.
That's interesting. What in the world is going on?
Mm-hmm.
That's what in the world is going on with the Brooklyn Nets and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving?
Bruh.
That's okay. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Like, what is going on with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving?
Facts.
What in the world is with them. That's like I'm confused. I'm confused by the whole thing. And
break it down. Break it down. What's confusing?
Look. So look. I'm gonna get in trouble by this. Like I'm gonna get in trouble with this, but I'm not a Stephen A. Smith type of guy. But I love sports. Grew up playing sports my whole life, competitive everything. So if Kyrie and Kevin Durant, if Kevin Durant's the greatest, like some people say, the best basketball player in the world, you go to the Brooklyn Nets. You're there with you and Kyrie Irving are there. You have Harden there. Kyrie makes all this drama.
Facts.
Kevin Durant's supposed to be the leader. So clearly he's not checking Kyrie. So Kyrie gets to do what he wants to do. Kyrie then signs back into a contract, and Kevin the next day says, I'm out? Like, that just makes no sense. I'm like, I'm confused by that. And then, like, Kevin, like, his legacy, I'm trying to figure out what he's trying to do with his legacy, man. Like, because Kevin Durant is one of the most talented players I've seen, offensively at least. But the facts are still the facts. He didn't win no rings without Stephen Curry. So, like,
yeah,
I'm trying, and Stephen beat him when he was in Oklahoma, right? He beat him and the rest. Like, so I'm trying to figure out what's his legacy play. He wants to be known as one of the greatest. He has to build somewhere. So what's he going to do? Like, I'm confused by the play. So I'm just confused about what Kevin Durant's trying to do with his legacy, man. So that's.
I'm with you on that one. Look, that whole Brooklyn Nets thing is a hot mess. It's a hot mess. I don't know what's going on with Brooklyn, but I tell you this, I bet you they regretting giving up all them number 1 draft picks and whatnot to build the super team. Like, cause they I'd rather right now, it seems the smart play is to build the legacy, longevity. You build your core unit, you keep your core unit, and you find you role players surrounding that. Basically Boston did that. That's what Boston had in play with their youngsters. You already know Golden State did that. That's what they have. And even if you look at the Bucks have the same scenario. That is, to me, building the super team for immediate gratification that don't seem what that takes out of the equation, to me, is chemistry. You can't fabricate chemistry with talent. You just can't, just because you talented and you put a bunch of talented folks together, that don't always work.
I agree with you 100%. And it's about culture too, right? So like you have to be like, I'm big on leadership and culture, and to have a thriving organization, even as private sector, whatever, you have to build a culture. You just can't thrive on talent. Talent can help you, but if you have the right culture, it can thrive. It's sustainable. But really, this is really LeBron's fault, right? I mean, it's LeBron's fault when he went to Miami and all that stuff. So LeBron kind of changed the dynamic of doesn't matter it doesn't matter if you get a ring. It's not matter how you get the ring, just getting the ring, right? And so it's not how you just getting the ring. And so I think for some reason Durant tried to follow that, but clearly what you just said, I think, has always been historically the way you build a team and bottom up. Boston's doing it. Bucks are doing it. Phoenix is doing it, right? Obviously, Golden State's doing it. Like, LeBron's legacy, because of that, is going to be iffy. And, I think Kevin Durant's found the wrong blueprint, man. He just started build his own team.
Right. But, some team would love to build around him. He is that person that you build an entire team around.
Yeah, I think he's talented enough. I don't know if he's a leader. I think that's what's in question for me. Is if he's a leader. When he was in Golden State, he might have been the most talented person on the team, but clearly was not his culture. Right? Clearly, he didn't define the culture of the organization. Clearly, that's Stephen Curry and Kerr, right?
Yep.
So I don't know if that's in the bill. Just because you're talented, I mean, you can build a leader. Not everyone's a leader. Everyone's a leader.
That's facts. That is facts. All right, I like that one. That's true, and that's relevant right now as a Bucks fan, 100%. Let Durant go on and do what you got to do. Just stay out of Giannis' way. We ain't trying to hear that over here.
It don't matter if Kevin was there or not. If Middleton was there and Giannis will give it to them any way it goes. So I don't care if he stayed there or not.
You right. You right.
Giannis will give it to them any way it goes.
Facts. All right. What in the world is going on with Old School Weekend on the radio. I took a little drive to go see my auntie and them for the 4th, and it wasn't on the 4th, it was the day before. And went and was listening, and if you listen to certain stations, they have old school weekend and they playing all these old school things. Well, you know what old school weekend makes you realize? That you old.
Oh,
you old. And so, and I'm going to tell you the one that got me. Biz Markie, Just a Friend.
Hey.
We was listening to this on the drive, right? And my wife was like, I don't understand this song and why it's popular and all this. And I said, babe, this is a greatest hits. And so I was like, you got to think about the longevity. So, we did what most people do when you don't know. We Googled it. And Just a Friend came out in 1989.
Wow. So that's my freshman in high school, man.
So
freshman in high school, that's crazy.
Wait, so I'm saying, and to this day, if someone says that, they can sing that song. They sing in the chorus at least.
Say just a friend. Yeah.
And I said, the greatness that is not recognized in creating something that has such longevity. Where you can play that at any. I don't care whose wedding it is. I don't care whose party it is. I don't care what culture you are. They know Biz Markie, and they gonna sing it. I was at another gathering yesterday, and what I'm gonna say is I got some I got some family from Kentucky. And my man, and I was telling him, we were having a conversation about it, and my man started busting bars from the Biz. Now, that ain't how he grew up now.
Right.
But the fact that even he knew it, that's greatness to me. And so old school weekend to me, sometimes you got to reflect and realize that's greatness.
Well, it's interesting what you're saying, too, is because the older I get, the more I'm big on legacy and sustainability and longevity, right? So I'm on that. But I got to ask you. So your wife didn't know who Biz Markie was? Like, I'm confused. Like, how did she not know?
She knew who Biz was, but she didn't. What her point is that she doesn't like the song. She don't know why it made it, why it's still being played. And I was like, I was like, babe, it's the sing along song. Like, some songs they're just great because they're easy to sing along and people know it, and you can't. Look, I don't know about you, but the last time I was out and about, this is one of those songs, they can put this on karaoke. They can put this out and people going to sing along 8 to 80 because people know this song. And I think that's impressive from a man from Brooklyn named Biz Markie.
And his personality, how he beatbox, all that stuff. But now you're talking about old school. It's so funny, 89. I remember like it was yesterday. That shows how old I am. We are actually down here in Madison on July 16th. We're bringing Gladys Knight here.
What?
Drew Hill.
What? Wait, Drew Hill?
Yes. After 7. Yeah. Talking about old school. July 16th. That's Overture down here, man. So it's the Boys and Girls Club down here starting to wear media partner with it. And it's Gladys Knight, After 7th, and there's a white party for Drew Hill.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're about that life, that old school R&B, this is the place to be. If you're about that life,
I'm about that life. Let me just explain. I am about that life. I am so about that life, and that sounds like a good time. I'm gonna need the details on that. I'm gonna need the deets.
Yeah. Come on down, man. It's Boys and Girls Club throwing it for the kids. And associates with the kids and stuff, and we're the media partner, man.
Definitely support the Boys and Girls Club. They do amazing work.
Yeah, but it's old school R&B, and I know some of the people don't even know who Drew Hill is or After 7. They might not have heard of Gladys Knight, but a lot of people don't even know who Drew Hill is. But
I think they know who Gladys Knight came to Oshkosh not that long ago. Did a concert here in Oshkosh. She still was doing it. Her in the Pips. But I will say. The Drew Hill, I think more people know Cisco because Cisco is the one with the one hit. He got the one hit. He got that song.
Right. Yeah. And I got daughters, so I ain't gonna say it. But yeah, I got it.
All right. Yeah. We're gonna roll into the next segment, and the next segment is word association. This is where I'm gonna say a word, and you tell me what's on your mind. So, First word, food.
Soul.
So break that down.
Soul food. Soul food, because was just the 4th of July, and I love my mama's cooking, and so over the holidays, that's when my mama throws down. That's when I get greens and fried chicken and her macaroni and cheese, sweet potato pie. That's when I get all that. You know what I'm saying? Only on holidays. So that's over the holidays I get that soul food from my mama, like stereotypical black soul food, which I love. Sweet tea, all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
on the holiday.
Hey, let me just go on and give that the applause, because I'm with you on that, and I got a chance to go, like I said, visit my auntie and them. They threw a nice little set, and I'm with you. And like it's nice to be able to really sink into some of that food that you grew up with, and it's familiar. Like what's coming. It tastes the same every time. Every time it's amazing. There is no fluke in that game.
Right. Yeah. It's like every time, like I said, it's Michael Jordan from 32 every name. Like it's always a hit. My mama's soul food. I love it. Actually, we are growing up. I don't know if you just kind of get digressing here, but growing up, I only had sweet potato pie. I never had like what's the pie?
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie. And I got to college, people were pumpkin pie. Brother, what is this stuff? Right? So I grew up on soul food, so yeah, I get it.
Oh, me too. I grew up, in my house. I grew up on food. My dad is 100%. He the man. He knew how to handle it, and it was all amazing. Like there was no such thing as tough meat. Like everything got tenderized, everything got seasoned, everything. There was shake and bake, there was fried pork chop. There was greatness in his cooking. Pop handled it. He didn't play. Like he wasn't just putting something on the table. He put love on the table.
Oh, that's what's up. I love that. That you need to keep that. He put love on the table. That's a tagline, bro. That's a podcast right there. Put love on the table.
Hey, maybe we need to talk about that. Maybe we need to find these black chefs across Wisconsin, and maybe that's what we call the podcast. Love on the table.
Yeah. He put love on the table. I love that. That's what soul food is. That's what soul food is. The love on the table. I love it. I love it.
All right, next, cocktail or beer?
Man, I don't drink, so cocktail, I guess.
Do we have a favorite beverage? Is there coffee, sodas? What do we get down with?
Man, tea. I love tea. Tea. I'm a tea man. I know it sounds weird, but I love tea, man. My mama got me on tea ever since I was a young kid, so I love tea. Tea, man. Any type of tea, man. I love to death. I love me some tea. I drink tea every day.
Oh, I'm a tea. I've turned into a tea person because I got to the point in life where they talk about that caffeine. I was drinking coffee, and I didn't believe people when they was like, there's a certain point where I got to either drink it half and half, or I had to back up off that coffee. And I started getting the jitters, the hard jitters, and I was like, all right, let me move to tea. Tea caffeine is different. It hits the body different. Like you don't get the jitters from the tea caffeine.
Yeah. And it lasts a little longer. I think it's like coffee kind of like you hit the peak and you crash. To me, at least I crash on coffee. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling you on that. Streaming.
Streaming?
Streaming.
Netflix.
Okay, what are we watching right now? What you binging?
Man, all right. Yeah, I would say Prime or Netflix. If I'm on Netflix, I'm watching like The Last Kingdom. Have you watched that show yet? Last Kingdom.
No, what's that about?
It's about basically these Vikings back in the day trying to take over land and be kings of their old land. So I watched that, and then I just watched something last night. Oh man, I forget what it was about. If I'm on Amazon Prime, man, I'm old school. I'm watching Martin all day, every day. Man, I love Martin. So I'm a Martin. So Martin for me, if I get my Martin in, man, I'm good. So Martin makes me laugh, man. So anything can make me laugh and not think about anything and make me like Martin, man. The show makes me laugh. I know every show, but if I watch it and it's like I watched it for the first time, man. It's so funny. So I love Martin of the Prime. So I watch Martin.
I think, we might have a technical difficulty, y'all, Kosh listeners. We definitely, we got a froze. We gonna hold on right here.
Hi, I'm Dawn Golke, the Executive Director of Casa of the Fox Cities. Science proves that one consistent adult can change the story of a child. Could you be that one? Become a court-appointed special advocate. Build a relationship with a child. Help identify their needs. And give them a voice in a process that can otherwise feel lonely. Contact us today. Children who have experienced abuse and neglect can't wait. Learn more about Casa of the Fox Cities at casafc.org or call Leah at 920-257-4733.
Okay, we are back. Technical difficulty conquered. Okay, Martin.
Yeah, Martin. So Martin, and I watched Martin. Man, I love Martin. Like, especially when COVID hit, I was always watching Martin. Man, I try to watch every lunch. I try to hit Martin just to make me laugh and get me to forget about other stuff, man. So I love Martin. Like going back talking about our old stuff, old R&B, old sitcoms like that, man. Martin, My Wife and Kids. Bernie Mac show, all those things, man, I love laughing.
Oh yeah. You know what? I've found myself really drawn to comedians lately. And so a lot of the podcasts I'm listening to right now are by comedians. And you know what? I never thought about, and this was one of the conversations on one of the episodes with Kevin Hart, was the genius of Martin. You know, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember if you didn't watch Martin, you couldn't come to school the next day. Because you couldn't, because you had to know what happened on that episode, because everybody was going to be talking about what happened on Martin, and Martin was a genius. Like, we don't give him his flowers like we should. Like, the things that he has accomplished, if you really dig into it, is deep.
And what he did for the culture, right? Like, he actually put the black culture on screen in an updated version. All it really is George Jefferson. All he was Wheezy and George Jefferson. That's really was the updated version of that to me. And so he just updated it and put the current culture up on screen. I mean, he had Notorious B.I.G. on there, Snoop Dogg. I mean, like, he made it culturally relevant, man. And it was brilliant. It still lives today. If you look at it right now, the content's still relevant and make you laugh. It's that funny, to me at least.
I think there was a statistic they had that they said on one of the episodes, I believe, and I'm hoping I'm not quoting this wrong, but that Martin was the first $20 million black actor for a movie, where he got paid out $20 million for a role.
I believe that, because what's the movie with him and Will Smith?
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys. You got to remember, when it first started, it wasn't Will Smith. It was Martin got Will on the show, the movie. It wasn't all the way around. So Martin was hot at the time. He brought Will in. Right. It wasn't all the way around, right? So that makes total sense that he'd be one of the first to get that type of money.
Yeah, that's big. Like, because he basically broke the doors open for everybody else for that pay level, and that's even on Def Jam. Remember, like Def Jam, he used to do all the stuff for Def Jam too. So he was like, straight up to me. I love Martin. Oh yeah,
I love the show. Hilarious.
Shop local.
Stop local.
Shop local.
Yeah, you get good questions, bro. Stop local.
Shopping local.
Oh, shopping local.
Yes.
Shopping. That's a good question. Shopping local, I would say, if you're shopping, first thing comes to mind is black women.
Okay, please explain. Explain.
Because as you know this, that Black women are the fastest growing entrepreneurs in the country. They've started more businesses than anyone else. Black women have become more educated than anyone else. And so they are starting to become entrepreneurs, and a lot of their products are local. And they're starting businesses, and they need local support from people in their local community to help them thrive. And so you have all these women, Black women, who are starting these businesses, but they need support. And I always believe the first thing you do is local support. So that's the first thing that came to mind is shopping local, find a Black woman business, because they're doing it. They starting these businesses, straight facts, numbers, statistics, data. It's not my opinion. Just look at the numbers. Black women are starting business more than anyone else right now. And they need the support. So that's the first thing that came to mind.
I love that. And you know what? That makes so much sense to me. Sometimes you don't even know what you're looking at, and you're looking right at it happening, right? And I can think about multiple Black businesses in the region, and they are started by Black women at this time.
Yeah.
That's
and we tend sometimes we tend to look past our own what's in our backyard sometimes instead of taking it for granted, Like your podcast, right? Like, so perfect example, your podcast. You're up there in Oshkosh doing a podcast called Kosh, representing the area it's like a very inclusive model. You're trying to get people need to represent, they need to recognize that is unique. Don't sleep on it, that you get people to come on that show to do the podcast and do a lot of content, and you represent the Kosh. I mean, like they need that just as much as anyone else. They need to let people know what Oshkosh is all about, what the area is all about. It's not just farmers and pickup trucks. It's more than that. That's part of it, but it's more than that, right? And so people need to be supportive of this podcast, man, just because of that. Like you need people to represent the area in all its unique ways.
Oh yeah, it definitely gives voice, and yeah, and you're right. If you aren't from the region, and being somebody who's from Milwaukee, what people, if you ain't been here, what people think we are. The stereotypes are real. Let me tell you, my family always thought like Oshkosh was like 3-4 hours away. They'd be like, "No, we ain't driving up there." So I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, like you say, I still get people. We have Madison365. Like, why are there people of color up there? I'm like, what are y'all talking about?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot. And I always tell them I'm not talking one or two people. I'm talking families, professionals, businesses. Yeah. Like the region has changed. Now I've been here long enough to see change. So it's amazing, actually, when I think about it.
Yeah, the change is dramatic, and from leadership all the way down from Green Bay down to Fond du Lac, there's a lot of growth in that area. So, yeah,
big time. Okay, diversity.
Man, yeah, some good questions here. Diversity, misunderstood. Misunderstood. Undervalued. But misunderstood is the first thing I would say.
All right, give me. Let me dig in on that. What do you mean? What do you mean I'm misunderstood? Because I have thoughts, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts.
I think when people hear diversity, they automatically think social justice. They automatically think it's the right thing to do. They also think, it's people haven't earned to be at the table. All those things. I think all those things are wrong. I think diversity really should be seen as one, uniqueness in letting people be authentic. And I don't care if you're a white person or a white woman, transgender, Black, whatever it is. Diversity means letting people be their authentic selves. But every core American wants that, right? So if you talk to the person, the Trump area, what they really want is the authentic selves, right? They want gun rights and stuff. They want to be authentic selves, right? You talk to someone who's transgender, what they're really saying is want to be their authentic selves, right? So that's what diversity is at the core. But I'm saying misunderstood because I think a lot of people think it's the right thing to do. Yeah, it's the right thing to do, but from a business perspective or a society perspective, it's the best thing that's going to help you thrive. If you're a business, diversity equals innovation. This is fact. This is data. This is not my opinion. So the more diversity you have in your organization and you're letting them be their authentic selves, the more innovation you're going to have. The more innovation you're going to have, it means you're going to make more revenue you're going to have. It means more people you can reach for your product. So if I'm in a business and I want to make as much money as I can, and it would behoove me to bring in diversity. People say, well, I don't really understand the Latino market. I don't understand the LGBTQ market. I don't understand. So how am I going to get that bag? How am I going to reach them? If I want my business model, I want to make as much money as I can. Well, you got to know the market. To do that, you got to have people who understand the market, right? Correct. And then if you want to thrive as a community and you want your kids and your community to thrive and be competitive and innovative, you got to have that diversity and inclusion if you want to survive as a community, right? So I think diversity is like misunderstood. It's put into too much of a political debate instead of actually factual make you thrive. So that's what I meant.
I love that. My thing with diversity, I think, is there's too much people forget to include themselves.
Right.
They other diversity, like it's always those other people, instead of realizing, no, that means you too. No matter who you are included under the diversity umbrella. And I think the sooner we can get more people to realize, that means me too, then I think that will help move the needle from where it's currently at even further.
100%. 100% agree. Like you said, I'm from Madison, and people in Madison would think that what's up in Oshkosh is different, right? We said people in Oshkosh are different from us. Like, okay, but are they different? Okay, so you need that diversity, right? That means you need to diversify. That's all it is. I think people just complicate it. It's simple.
Yeah.
People are different than you, different experiences. Bring them to the table.
All right. Last word for word association, media.
Yin and yang.
Break that down.
It's good and bad. The media can be good because you can learn things that you don't know about. It can keep you informed. And access is power. Education is power. And so being informed and learning things can be a power. The bad thing is media is also a business. And so if you look at most media outlets today, they've learned that there's the salacious things that sell, and also talking to the niche community, right? So like, even us, so I focus on people of color. I'm broad because I focus all people of color, but you have a niche, right? Fox News focuses on the conservative part of the community. MSNBC focuses on the progressive side of the community. And they're really just all echo chambers, right? So the danger of that is you can never be truly well informed because you're only hearing one perspective, right?
Right.
And so that's dangerous. And I think another the yang about media is a lot of times, if you just look at media, if you turn on a TV station, it's almost always negative. Almost always negative news that I have, especially on TV stations.
Right.
And then representation perspective, media, I would say, is they don't always tell people of color's perspective in true light or authentically, right? So it's always usually from a other lens to how they view us. And so that could change people's perspectives. I'll give you an example. There's a young girl down here, maybe 4 years ago, a girl named Janelle Lard, and she was young, 18 years old, got in trouble with the police at East Town Mall. And she was, silly, young. So she spit at the officer. The officer was trying to get her arrested, take her out to the store. She spit at the officer. They slammed her. Beat her up pretty well. And man, I'm telling you, the girl was 18. Like, I bet she wasn't 110 pounds. She was a tiny, tiny girl. And one of the media outlets put her up on the website with her in her jail, like her picture, like of getting booked in, like her mugshot. And I'm thinking, this is a baby. This girl's 18. This baby's 18. Made a mistake. Spit at officers. The officer really went overboard on it. But it hurt this girl. And so what we did was, okay, wait a minute. We did the same picture of her, but we put her in her prom dress. Same thing.
Oh yeah.
You say, look, like she did something wrong, but she's still a baby. Like, let's not change. She's a baby. The girl's 18 years old. Like, she's a baby. So the media has a very powerful effect on society.
Facts. And yeah, and these young people, stuff like that. And I don't always know that we realize the power that the picture and perception play in the narrative. Right? So what that picture looks like matters. How they choose to show, whether it's somebody who is a victim of something, or whether they were the person that was participating in whatever the event was. Those pictures are powerful, and it helps to firm up the narrative that the media is trying to portray of the person. So I don't know. That always makes me a little. It gives me pause.
And that's why what you're saying. The pictures are powerful. That's why if you talk to most corporations have most of their money in marketing, right? They spend a lot of money in marketing. Why do you think people spend money in marketing and advertising? Because they know it works. Like pictures, they move people. Because they know it works. So, I mean, you're right.
All right. Next segment is Hidden Gems. And this is your opportunity to tell. And we're going to broaden the scope. Normally, we're focused in the region of the Fox Valley, Fox Cities region, but you could still hit that. But a hidden gem is something that somebody might not know about that's exists, whether it's an event, a place, something to share with the Kosh listeners. So, hidden gem.
Hidden gem. And it can be anything.
It can be anything.
Hidden gem. Oh, okay. If it's up in that area, Cozy Corners. I think that's the restaurant up there in Appleton.
Yes.
To me, that's a hidden gem up in that area. I've never forget. I was up in Appleton, and they told me I had a soul food restaurant. I was like, "What? In Appleton? Like, come on!" And then I went to the restaurant. And I was like, "Oh, this is real. Like, this is real soul food too. Like, this is okay." So I would say in that area. Cozy's Corners would be my hidden gem. That would be my hidden gem.
I'm gonna have to shout that out with you. Big shout out to the Cozy. I go there almost every Friday for lunch. That's my spot. And you know what it is? Because they be playing that blues music. So I get my little catfish 2-piece and a little Kool-Aid to sip. And then they had this blues music, and that is the best lunch of the week because it is just me in a space that feels made for me.
Yeah, right. You feel like it's home.
Feels like it's
home. Feel like it's home. And Appleton, who knew? Like, who knew?
They opened another one.
Really?
They opened one in the mall. It's called the Cozy Express.
Okay.
So they expanded out. But next time you in the region, I'm gonna put you on because I got another spot for you.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I love it.
Okay. What does the region need?
You asked some real good questions. Got me thinking. I would say your region needs a better narrative, and a better narrative of who they are as a region, and a better narrative of especially who they are as a region one as a whole. Then I would say if you dig deeper, they definitely need a better narrative of who they are when it comes to people of color. I believe that region in the state has the most potential as a person of color. And let me tell you why. I know a lot of people listen to that's crazy, Henry. But one, it's safe. It's extremely safe in that area.
Facts.
Schools are good.
Facts.
You have more businesses up there really than Madison area. It's Milwaukee than that area as far as corporations and businesses. Because you have businesses that are flourishing, which means there's job opportunities. You have strong universities from Green Bay to Oshkosh, right? Your technical colleges. So you have a strong region.
Yep.
But no one's telling those stories. No one's telling that narrative. No one's letting people know that there's true opportunities up there. And then I would say to then dig a little bit deeper. I say then you have to start establishing more person of color driven organizations that could be the hub to be a catalyst for other growth up there. Like y'all don't have an urban league up there. Y'all have AHI with Sabrina and them, and you have a Hmong part of the chamber and all that stuff. But you don't have like a true hub up there. What I think you need to help you spread the narrative of why people want to come up there. I think in the next part of the growth of the state, that's where the growth's going to be, because it checks all the boxes for people, what they're looking for.
Oh, absolutely. It's as I like to tell people, it's super resource rich for those, if you need resources and those who are in their growth, in their space of growth, or if you are struggling. We are a resource rich area. The cost of living for the quality of life you get here, I think it's tough to beat. And then like you said, good schools, and things to do, right? Things for your family to do. There's quite a bit. So I agree with you. I actually think, I do think there could be a better job done on the narrative, but I also agree. Here's what I'll say. As someone who's been around for a long time, the secret is out because people move in here. The growth has happened. If you go back and look at the census in the last decade, it doesn't happen. The growth is happening, and you ain't gonna put that jack back in the box now. It will continue to move forward.
Yeah, and I think the challenge for you in that area is making sure that you grow in the right way, but you keep the growth in a way that's healthy for the community and helps people thrive. Like they want to be part of the community, invest, and stay, and do it the right way. I think that's going to be very core for you because, I love Milwaukee, but you don't want to be Milwaukee.
No.
Right?
Milwaukee's Milwaukee.
So,
yeah.
Milwaukee. So, you have to do it the right way and be very intentional about the growth. But yeah, it's clear that's going to be a growth there. It just makes sense.
All right. The next segment is called the Naughty/Heroes Corner. And this is your opportunity to nominate someone, something, organization, whatever you want it to be, to the Naughty or /Heroes Corner. So we either celebrating something or we gonna have to talk about something.
I'm a big, my faith is everything to me. So, I try to speak life to everything I do. So I'm going to say hero is Special Olympics. And let me tell you why. We went to Disneyland, me and my family, maybe a month ago, and they had the Special Olympics, USA Special Olympics games out there, man, and it was off the chain. And the Wisconsin team did really well, came out there, and I'm like, we need to be giving more people, Special Olympics folks in Wisconsin more love, because these folks are competing, working hard. I mean, someone who plays sports, I know how hard it is to compete in general, but if you have any type of disability at all and you're out there competing and running and stuff, man, I think that's amazing. So shout out to Special Olympics in Wisconsin. In general, Special Olympics people at Special Olympics in Wisconsin. Shout out to them. Much love.
Agreed. That is, they do great work. And I don't know, I love seeing the videos of what they do, the pictures. Like, that's just, it's 100% positive, right? There just doesn't seem to be a bad side to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's that time, Kosh listeners. All right. You already know what I'm going to do. Look, my favorite part. Here we go.
What is it? Your favorite part's what?
Oh. See, there's a tone, there's a musical warm up before we jump into the topic of the week. And I'm going to have to play this for you on the side so you can hear. Just Kosh listeners, because I'm always 100% transparent. Since we are doing things virtually, our guest actually can't hear any of the sound effects that I'm playing as we do the episode. So, okay, so topic of the week. This week's topic of the week is Madison365. All right. So, Henry, share, please. Tell us about this. How did this come about? And what has been the response to it? What is the trajectory like when you first rolled it out? What made you come up with the idea?
Yeah, this is you asked a wonderful question. So Madison365. So I used to work for President Obama, and I was a political appointee for him. I helped run the Small Business Administration in the Midwest. And while I was there, part of my job was going around talking to CEOs about what were some of the biggest challenges. And I would go to all these CEOs in the Midwest, and let me tell you, the issues were, when I talked to them, the issues were like, what's your top issues, right? And the issue to be like, well, you think it's taxes or regulations? Nope, it wasn't that. It was always talent. We can't find talent. We can't get people in, right?
Right.
And then you start digging deeper, it's really saying we can't find people of color, right? Because the Midwest, and it was a Midwest issue. So you found it's a remigration. Early 60s, whatever, a lot of people of color moved up here from down south, working factories, etc. Now people are moving back from Midwest back down south. And so it was a Midwest issue. I'm like, okay, well, a lot of these CEOs really need to find people of color. They just don't know how to do it. They don't know how to connect to them.
Correct.
And then what happened was a young man in Madison was named Tony Robinson, got killed and shot by a police officer.
Mm.
And what made this unique, Timber, was that, a lot of times something happens in Madison, or when they, it's someone from Chicago, someone that's not one of our own. No, this kid grew up in Madison. His mom went to high school. His dad went to high school in Madison. So, he was a Madison kid. Grew up in, everyone knew him or was connected to him. One degree of separation, right? So everyone knew him, or his family somehow was around him. And he got shot by a police officer. And the community was just, how the police, how people were talking about was just awful, right? But also the communities of color felt like they were getting a voice. And so what happened was this true story. My mom's a real activist, man. My mom's like a true activist, she's on everything. Urban League, you name my mom's part of everything in Madison. And so she came home, they talking about all the stuff they were doing. I'm like, that's the wrong strategy. That's awful. No, you don't do that. That doesn't change anything. So my mom points in my face, says, son, do something or shut up.
That sound like okay. Wait, that sound like a black mom.
Oh, for real, right? And I'm giving you the edited version, right? Right? So but she pointed in my face, and, shut up, son, do something about it. So I said, okay, what I'm gonna do? I'm still working for Obama, right? So I'm okay. All right, so what can I do to help these CEOs so that they want to reach people of color, and people of color feel like they don't have a voice, and they need more access, they need their narrative, their story to be heard. I said, you know what? Why don't I start a media outlet? But Tim, I don't have a journalist background, none of that, right? I don't have none of that. I'm okay, let me do that. And that's, I'm gonna start as a nonprofit. So now when I found a couple of guys in the community who did journalism, I said, what do you guys think? Hey, yeah, great, we'll join you. So okay, we'll join it. Nonprofit organization, we'll start as a nonprofit. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm starting about like this is gonna be a good thing to do for the community, right? It's not gonna be something that's gonna be a real thing. It's like something I can do to help the community. So I put this stuff together, do all this research. I'm big on research. Do all this research, data, how to best reach people of color, all this stuff. I said, okay, let's start this website called Madison365. And you know what? If it reaches 10,000 people a month, that's gravy, perfect. Because if you look at the most media outlets of color, they mostly reach about 10,000 people at the peak. So I'm like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, great. I'm like, great. We'll do that. We'll be great. Man, the first we launched, the first day we did 10,000 people. We had to change servers and everything. It blew my mind. And so I was like, oh, there's a niche here. Like, okay, like there's something here. People really want this content. And ever since then, we just grew super fast. And what separates us, one, we're all online. We do a lot of content. We do about 30 some stories a week. So we take a lot of content out. And we're multicultural, multi-ethnic. So most media colors are focused on just the Black community, the Latino community, the Hmong community. We focus on all the communities.
Right.
And we do journalism, which, there's no disrespect to any other media outlet color, but most of them do lifestyle. Most media outlet colors say, hey, Timber's got a new job, or Beyonce and Jay-Z are going to the gala, or, we actually do journalism. Like, hey, wait a minute. The school district just said the N-word. Someone at the school district said the N-word. How do you deal with that? Or someone got beat up in the jail. How do you address that? So we have to do journalism also. And because of that mixture, we just blew up. And so clearly we're number one from a numbers perspective, has been the Midwest. The next probably be Chicago Defender. They do about $500,000 a month. And so they'd probably be our closest competitor, just focus on people of color.
Wow. That's wild. And you and you just happen to, well, you really didn't stumble upon the niche. You were motivated by your mom.
Right.
I want to know, you know what, one of the more, I found out about Madison365 prior to me in my current role, but the first time I saw it was when you do those lists, when Madison365 does those lists of the most influential in different demographic categories, and it gives pause. Like it makes people stop and say, oh. And what I think it does more than anything is it creates an awareness. I didn't know that someone of color was in that position or was in that region working or things like that. Like it kind of was like a huge bat signal out to everyone to say, oh, okay. Like, that's amazing. I did not know. It gave you a place to say, we are doing it. And for young people, a place to dream towards. What made you come up with that?
It does my heart so well to hear you say everything you just said, because that was the whole thinking of why I decided to do that. Because it was like, in the beginning, someone who's traveled the state, knows the state so well, it always blew my mind. I'd be in Appleton, Oshkosh, or Green Bay. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't know Rashad, you don't know Sabrina, you know Sabrina, like y'all don't know each other, like in this area, y'all don't know each other. And then if we go to Madison, wait a minute, you don't know the Boys and Girls Club person up in this area, like. So my first thing, like, wait a minute, y'all don't know each other, and how do I get everyone to know each other, just like as a network? And then my second thing was, wait a minute. Going to this narrative part, people need to know that there's people of color doing real big things in this state, like big things. They're doing some real work and changing the state, like real work, not like real big work. So those are the first two things I did. And then the third part was me growing up in Madison like I did. I remember the first time I went to Washington, D.C., and it blew my mind to me. I was seeing black folks driving Mercedes and Benz and dressed up. It changed. I was like, wow, what is this? Like, this is abnormal. Like, this doesn't feel normal to me. Wow. And it changed my perspective of what I thought. I'm like, oh, okay, we can get out here and get it done. Like, this is like, okay. And so I wanted to build something that gave people all those experiences, right? And so I wanted to build a list. And the first time we started with just with the black influential list. And now we have 4 different. We have a Native American list. We have a Latino list, Asian list, which just came out last week. We have a black list. And we first did our black list. This is a true story. Everyone's like, I think we had like 40 people on our first black influential list. And people were like, yo, man, that's too many people. Like, you can't, if you do just 40, you're going to run out of people the next year. The true story. Everyone was like freaking out about that. Man, let me tell you what. Ever since then, we get over 100 some people every list recommended for our list every year. There's so many people we can't keep up. Right. And so I'm like, see, y'all were just sleeping. Y'all just didn't know. But people of color are doing real stuff in this state and being influential. And it's changed. Like, look at it now in Madison. Like, so in Madison, for example, we have a black police chief, a black sheriff, a black superintendent, school boards, all people of color, city councils ran with people of color, county boards first led by a person of color. You name it. Keep going on and on for that. In Milwaukee, county execs black, mayor is black, city council is black chair, county boards black. I mean, like, you just go on and on. You know, y'all got in Oshkosh, y'all had a Latino mayor, right? So you just start finding the executive digging in that, oh, people of color are doing real stuff in this state. Like, this is not a game. And so that's why we did it, man. And it's one of our most popular things we do every year.
Oh, hands down. Yeah. And as somebody who's been fortunate enough to be on that list, what I will say is there is no warning. I love the fact that the list comes out and it just comes out. And then And then everybody will contact you to let you know, oh, did you see this? Because that is exactly how it went to me. And I've talked to some others I know who have made the list in the past, and they were like, yep. And then I've got to say it is, there's something to that. It's motivational. And it's definitely, it's a way, such a professional way to give flowers.
Yeah. And to highlight people, man, like for me, if anyone knows, hopefully they know about me, my legacy means my leadership style would be about highlighting other people, man, and serving and make sure other people get their flowers and get them while they're here. Not when they're passed away, not like while they're here doing the work. And if I can help do that, man, be great. And so, yeah, thank you for noticing that, man. That made my heart that you caught all that while we're doing this. That makes my heart do well, man. And the side issue, when our Wisconsin Leadership Summit down here in Madison, in person, we bring all the most influential people together in person. And finally, again this year in Madison, October 10th to 11th. You should come down, man. But know what you should do? You should come down and do a podcast down there. You should do a podcast live down there, man.
Hey, look, I'm mobile. Don't threaten me with a good time, because I will do it in a heartbeat, and we will make that the 365 edition of the Kosh. We will do it.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people from that area down here, man. So you just interview them and tell them what's going on and tell them how they're liking it. Just grab them. You should come for real. Come on down, man.
Let's talk about that and figure out how I can get a table set up, because I would be more than happy to do that. Actually, that sounds so fantastic in so many ways, because the thing that I always like to do is I want to share as many voices as possible, no matter who you are, where you come from. And if you listen to the Kosh, you know there's no agenda. I'm just truly trying to share these voices so we can all know who's in our community, and also the camaraderie and the build community through this.
So. Yeah. Man, so come on, man. For real, I love it, man. You come on down, we'll get you a table. You can interview anyone, but there's definitely going to be people from that Fox Valley region coming down here, man, be here. So you can just be interviewing them.
Yeah. Hey. All right, we're gonna talk about that. That's going to be the next offline email that's hitting your way.
Yeah, for real. I said this publicly. For real. I can make that happen.
All right. So, any additional things you would like to share about the Madison 365 journey? And what I would like is there anything for others out there who would like to do something similar? Do you have any words of wisdom for them? Any guidance?
One, if you want to start a media outlet, anything, but for us, I think you have to be fearless, right? I think you have to be fearless, meaning you cannot waver on what you're trying to do and why you're doing it. When we first started Madison365, everyone told me, especially our peers, our white peers, all told me that it wouldn't work. Or, you might do 100,000 people a month, maybe at peak. Or you can't build a financial model around that. Or for-profit media outlets, like you can't have a non-profit media outlet because that goes against the culture. It doesn't work. And actually the people said, I'm telling you true stories. The people actually said that to us. We're actually going to write a hit piece about how we did a nonprofit and how we were bad and awful for doing a nonprofit. Now 4 or 5 years later, now they're a nonprofit media outlet. Color facts, true story, true story.
Really,
true story, 100% true.
Wow.
So I would say you have to know why you're doing stuff and be intentional about it, and can't listen to naysayers. 1, 2, don't be afraid to build a product around people of color. And I think what you'll hear from people early on, from a business perspective, they will tell you, there's not enough people of color here. There's not whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's a false argument, right? Yes. People of color spend money. So people of color spend money all day, every day. Give an example, rap, hip hop, right? 70% of people buy hip hop are white folks, right? So but the culture, the core is people of color, right? So people consume our culture. Okay, so our growth, when I say we're at 1.5 million, 1.8 million, tells you we have a lot of white people coming reading our stuff, right? But it's because we don't waver. We are authentically focused on our lane. We're focused on being authentic. And if you're someone who wants to come learn the culture, you come read our platform. So never waver from being a person of color or a business that's focused on people of color. Don't never waver from that being your market, because people of color do spend money. So I think that'd be those couple of things. And then I would say, from a media perspective, when we first started, people were saying that you can't find journalists of color, and it was true. But since then, we've had like 63 freelancers or 63 writers of color come through our place, and New York people, everyone's hired them. Like State Journal, everyone's hired our writers coming through. But the difference was we were intentional about finding those writers. We weren't doing it from journalism schools, right? We're going to them and say, hey, look, if you want to make a change in your community, you want to make an impact in your community, and you have these talents and skills, right? Or do a video or whatever, and we'll promote it. We'll put you on, right? And you have to be a journalist, and that expanded the window for people, and we made them feel like they can be at home, be authentic. So we let these writers come, really get to grow, and now people are snatching from us. So that's what we want. So those are kind of the things I would say. Don't know why you're doing it, because you're going to have a lot of naysayers, but know why you're doing it. Don't be afraid to do something that's focused on people of color. Don't let someone tell you that business model can't work. That's false. And give you another story. When I was doing this media conference when we first started, maybe our second year, and Gannett was there, and all the other media outlets were there. And someone from the crowd asked me, actually someone from another media outlet asked me, a white person, said, hey, Henry, how do you guys compete with us? And now how do you guys expect to be around, and how do you compete with us when, you guys only focus on people of color? Like, that's not a long-term model. Like, how do you plan on being successful and staying around? What's your longevity plan? What's your business plan? And I said to them, well, interesting you're saying that. I said, well, demographics are shifting. I said, 20 years from now, 10 years from now, there's going to be more people of color than not. If you're looking at high schools right now, there's majority of people of color in the high schools.
Facts.
People of color spend money, right? So my question is that people of color are very brand loyal. This is fact. Like, look at the data backs up, very brand loyal. So the question for you, my friend, is how do you compete with us 10 years from now when we have all the demographics on our side? The money's going to be on our side because they're going to continue to grow, and the brand loyalty is on our side. They're going to look at us and then look at you and say, well, who are you? Madison365 has been here for the past 10 years, representing our audience, representing us, being authentic, and you're just trying to get into the game because now you see dollars around it. How do you compete with us? Man, the white dude turned red. The crowd was like, huh? Like, it was a shocking, like they couldn't believe I said it. But then everyone's like looking like, oh, that makes sense, right? So, again, know why you're doing it, and don't be afraid to be authentic to your audience, man. So I would say those things are some of the key things.
I wish I was there. Can I just say that? Can I wish I was there? Because I wish I was there. Wow. That now, you know, while you were telling the narrative, it's exactly where in my mind I was going there with you. I was meeting you there because I was like, how are they going to compete? Right? Like, everything says to me that the trends are leading towards your business model, and they're in the place of non-change. They're stagnant. And
Tim, here's the thing. And again, I can't make this stuff up. The media outlet, that person that said this, now if you look at their content, they're trying to be us. They're trying to do us. Like, this is a different media outlet than the one who went nonprofit. These are two different media outlets.
Right.
Two different ones. So all these are true. I can't make this stuff up, man. This is all like true stories.
You shook them. You shook them at their core.
Yep.
Because you spoke truth to power, and like you say, the data is there.
The facts are the facts, man. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't, as Jay-Z says. So it is what it is.
Facts. Okay. All right, I'm going to start winding us up a little bit here. And just so you know, what happens on the wind up is we actually have winding up music. And this is where I start telling the Kosh listeners, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you as always. And we are in a place of growth. Do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are a work in progress. Let us know what we're doing good. Let us know what we can do better. Reach out to us at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. Also, you know that I'm trying to get Kosh listeners to call in and send us whatever you want. Send us your shout outs. Send us your Ask the Kosh questions, because we want to cover that. We want to share it. We want to make this an engaging show. So that being said, that phone number is 920-385-9298. Once again, that is 920-385-9298. And lastly, hey, I'm going to keep telling y'all this because I truly believe this. The hottest gear for the farmers market this year is the Kosh gear. You know, we got hats, we got t-shirts. Holla at us, $20 a piece, XL through small. And if you want something bigger, holla at us and we can make that happen. So don't hesitate and just either email us or leave us a voicemail and we can get back to you on that. All right. So we took care of that. Now, you know what's next? Henry, let me just share with you what's next. It is my favorite part of the show, which is shout out time. Shout out time is your opportunity to shout out whoever you want to shout out for any reason you want to shout them out. Let's go.
Okay. Well, you said to me, one person earning.
Oh, no. Look, you can do 20 shout outs. Shout out time is shout out time.
Okay. All right. So first of all, shout out to my man, Jesus. I'm a Jesus geek, Jesus nerd. So shout out to my man, Jesus. One, first of all. The second, shout out to my wife who holds me down. It's been my partner in crime. I love you, baby. And shout out to my kids, Savannah, Talia, little Henry. Shout out to y'all. I love y'all. Shout out to the Madison365 fam. So we have a fam. People join us and members do special things for us. Shout out to the fam. Shout out to my man, Mr. Smith up there at the Kosh. Shout out to him. Shout out to my friend over there, Barb, at the New North Chamber, not the New North Economic Development Entity up there. Shout out to my girl, Sabrina Robbins at AHI up there. Shout out to Maya, UW Green Bay. So shout out to them, and I can continue with that. Shout out to everyone here in Madison who's listening and been with us forever. Just shout out to anyone out here trying to spread love and to serve others. I got you. I'm with you.
Yes. Now that's what I'm talking about. That is shout out time. I only got a couple shout outs for myself. I'm gonna send out shout out to my auntie and them for inviting us for the fourth and for the food, family, fun, and love. Appreciate y'all. It is always a blessing to go spend that time with family when you don't get to see them all the time. So I definitely appreciate that. Shout out to the wife as always, because as she does, she allows me to do this in our house. All right. For Kosh listeners out there, just so you know, we have, since the daughter has moved out, we have a podcast studio now. So we are legitimately in our own space. So think about that. If you want to be on the Kosh, holler at us. And you know what? My last shout outs, I'm actually going to go give a shout out to the protesters. We got protesters out here who's trying to advocate for women's rights. And I'm with it. You know, get your message out there. Do what you got to do. I'm with it. But I also want y'all to be safe and do it the right way. I don't want actions to get in the way of your message. And I think that's super, super important. So, you know, let us that support you continue to support you and continue to get your message out there the right way so we can support you. All right. So we are in the very last part of the show, Henry, and that is this. You have a choice. You can do parting words of wisdom, or what would your self today tell your 12-year-old self? Or option C, both. All of the above. Which one would you like to do?
You dropping these questions, bro. Oh, man, these are good questions. I don't know, man. You want which one you want me to answer? I can answer both if you want. That's up to you.
Hey, look, look. I just, you know what I want? I want the wisdom for myself and for the Kosh listeners. So whatever one is the jewel, whichever one's the jewel, or if they both jewels, or maybe they're together. Maybe they together.
Yes. That's good. I'll try to do both for you, man. I think one for wisdom, I would tell you that learn how to love yourself, because hurt people, and you can hurt yourself. And loving yourself means it gives you the capacity to love others. And so love yourself. Learn how to love yourself in a real authentic way, because loving people do loving things. Hateful people do hateful things. And so love yourself. I say learn how to love yourself, because that will give you the capacity to love others, which leading forgiving others, and etc. So I would say learn how to love yourself. That'd be the one thing I would say. Now, what I would tell my younger self, my 12-year-old self, I think about this often, like go back in time and like if I could talk to my younger self, what would I do? I would say every action has a reaction, meaning you live by the sword, die by the sword. How you treat people, it might not impact you at that time, but it will come back sometime or other of how you treat people. It might not come directly back from that person, but those behaviors that you learn will come back and bite you in the butt if you're not treating people the right way. And so that would be part of the wisdom. And I would say also that hard work really does pay off if you focus and be diligent. And to be focused, sometimes you have to learn how to say no. Sometimes you have to say no. Yeah, those are probably the first two things I would tell myself, like, my younger self. And then, keep the faith. Keep the faith.
I love it. Okay. So what'd you think? We wrapping it up. This is it.
I love, man. Look, the questions are great questions, bro. I love the themes you have in here, man. I love the dialogue. It makes the content go fast when people feel like it's going slow. It's a real conversation, man. So I love it, man. I hope you continue to do this, bro. I think it's needed up there, man. And I hope you continue to do it. I wish you nothing but success for this. Let us know how we can be supportive.
Thank you. The Kosh.